Welcome to the Just Do It podcast, hosted by Anne Duffy. Dental Entrepreneur Women is here to dive deep and share stories with the mission to inspire, highlight, empower, and connect all women in dentistry.
Hi, everybody. It's Anne Duffy, and here we are today at the Just Do It podcast. I'm so excited to be here today with a special guest. How did I meet you? I can't remember, but you're going to tell us because that's what do's do. They just keep connecting with good people, and good do's find good do's. So I hope that you will help me welcome our special guest today, Miss Nicole Giesey. Hi, Nicole. How are you?
How are you? Good. Thanks for having me.
Well, thanks for being here. I was impressed with you from the moment we met, just because of your career path. As you know, I'm a hygienist and / got a couple of side gigs during my career. And now look at me, here I am, running Dental Entrepreneur Media. Who knew I could do that? And who knew I would have the passion for it? But you found something also outside of the operatory. And I want you to, first of all, tell us a little bit about who you are, what you're doing right now, and then we'll dig into how you got there.
Okay. So hi, I'm Nicole Giesey. So I'm a dental sales representative for restorative and infection control products. And I'm also a national sales trainer for the same company. How I got into it, I started as a dental assistant way back, like 1996, long time ago. Started as a dental assistant, loved dentistry, loved it. Worked 7 years in the dental assisting arena and I saw a hygienist reading RDH magazine. And I said, okay, what is she, hygiene magazine. I love writing. I would love to write for that, but I really want to get into hygiene. And I thought, she's her own provider. How could I start that? I was not very good in school, I will say. CD average, horrible student, loved social life way more. But I applied myself, went through all the prerequisites, worked hard, got into hygiene school, compared to military boot camp.
Yeah.
As you know, Anne, you're a hygienist. You know how hard hygiene school is. But I loved it. It was very challenging. I loved it. Fell in love with hygiene, became a hygienist. And then after being a hygienist for 5-7 years, I thought, what else can I do? Can I do this long term? My body's kind of giving out. What else can I do? And I was burned out because I was working like 6 days.
Wow.
Yeah, 6 days. But I loved the thought of education. I loved it. And my dad is an educator. He went back for his master's, so I thought, what could I do in education? So I ended up going back to school to be an educator. And I got my bachelor's degree so I could teach. And then I started locally at Youngstown State University as an adjunct. And I loved it. And I fell in love with it, but adjuncting doesn't have benefits with it, and you don't get paid that much. But it's solely the passion of teaching. So then I wanted to teach full time, and I was looking, what do you have to do? It's always like you look for your passion, you match it up to how you get there, and then you just start. You just push that pedal down and start going. So I decided to go back again to school to get my master's degree in education this time, because I wanted to learn how to teach people. So I did that, and I got a full-time position in Pittsburgh. Loved it. Dream job. Loved it. Didn't like the hour and a half one way without traffic logistically. So my dream job became so stressful because of the logistics of 2.5 hours of one-way drive.
On the turnpike? Is it on the turnpike?
Yes.
Did you have to drive the turnpike? Oh gosh, yeah. That's a double whammy.
Oh, it was horrible. And as soon as you get 10 minutes before the university, that's the hour wait to get in.
Wow.
So Pittsburgh, it's a phenomenal city, but it's a nightmare if you don't live in it to get in logistically. So sadly, I went back to hygiene. And I loved it again. I fell in love with it again, and the patients and everything. I just fell in love with it. Made really good money. I worked with Heartland Dental, in the Heartland office. And that corporation's phenomenal. I mean, any hygienist looking for DSO hygiene, it's a great place to go. They have great structure, phenomenal hygiene program. I mean, it was great. But I still wanted something long-term out of hygiene. Okay. And coincidentally, 5 minutes up the road a dental product company from Canada came and made their corporate headquarters, and they were looking for a dental hygienist who could be a product specialist. So I applied.
Bingo, right?
Yeah.
That checked all your boxes. Wow.
Oh my gosh, it was like a dream come true. So then I really enjoyed that experience because I got to not only do product management, then that's also in terms of education. You're educating everyone, all the reps, all the people. But the thing about Maxwell is they were new here. They had no reps. So they needed someone to help onboard, get together an entire training program, which my one master's degree is in education and training. So I helped them build a training program, onboard all their reps, manage all their reps. And then the owner, who was my mentor, taught me everything about dental sales. And boy, did I that was when you find your niche, you find your niche. And that was just my where was this all this time? I could have been in sales this whole time type of thing. And he really mentored me really, really well for about 3 years. And I loved it. I loved everything about it. But I didn't have benefits. And I, was kind of the head of the household. And as a woman, I needed to have a long-term retirement. I had no retirement, and at 40, I was kind of like, I kind of need to start thinking about that. Mm-hmm. And so my next step was, where do I want to be long-term? Where do I want to, really stay and put everything I have experience-wise, education-wise, where do I want to make an impact? So then I looked at my favorite dental products and I thought, what kind of management style do they have? That's a big thing too. When you're looking at a corporation, look at the corporation as a whole, look at their management structure. Are you going to fit there? Are they diverse? Are they going to accept you as a woman and what you've done and, kind of nourish what you want to do? So I looked into my favorite dental products and there was an opening. It was for Cincinnati though.
Oh,
I thought, I don't care. It's, Cincinnati's 4 hours away from me, but I thought I'm just going to apply. And the recruiter called that day. And I still tease my manager now for agonizing months of interviews he put me through.
Wow. That's serious.
He was brutal. And it's such a joke between us now because I tell him all the time, killed me on that interview, but he's an awesome manager, but strategically he's very good at picking who he has. So I went through all that and now I'm extremely content 3.5 years later. And it's going great. That's where I am. That's a long-winded story of my path.
Oh, I love it though. I mean, that's quite a path. And you said a couple of things that really resonated with me, Nicole. I mean, first of all, you said yes to some opportunities that came your way.
Right.
And then with the first mentor, how often do people take a job and they don't use the rich opportunity to soak in the experience and the knowledge from somebody else? And obviously the first company you worked for was a teacher as well, right? And as an educator, and obviously you're a learner because you don't go back to school for another degree unless you're a learner. And a learner is really great at taking the information they get and being able to communicate it in a well thought out way so that people can understand it and implement the education or the whatever that would be, just the information that you're giving them, right? So good for you. You're using it sounds like you're using all of your strengths, but you also know your worth. And I like the idea that as you're speaking and talking about your story, in the back of my mind, I was like, yeah, you knew that you were meant for something bigger and better, but also you need the chops I think it's really important to kind of have the chops in the operatory when you're actually selling something to the dental community. Not every business is like that. Not every company is like that, but I think within the dental, we like our own, right? We like someone that's going to know our pain points and understand that your product that you fell in love with is going to solve a problem that they have.
Right. And I think that you hit on it. And I encourage people that are right now, even an assistant hygienist, wherever they are, I always got heat. Like you said, I knew that, I was going to continue to drive. I always got heat. Why don't you just stay at the job you're at? Why aren't you just content? Why do you keep changing? And I just thought, because it's not where I'm supposed to be. I have something else, you just have that pull. And I feel like it's so nice, honestly, to say, because even in my position now, I wanted to learn business. So I went back and got an MBA. Because I wanted to make sure.
Okay.
I wanted to make sure, because I am, I've been in the business for a while now, but I wanted to really excel in it. Like, I'm happy I'm very happy. And that's another point, how do you know when you're ready, you're content, and you can stay put? And you really do find that out. But I wanted to master, the business part of it. So, but I strongly encourage anyone to, if they feel like they want to get out, of where they are, then set it up, line it up, plan it out.
Well, that's exactly right. Set it up, make the plan. And so this is the other thing, is reaching out to someone like you, to a mentor. Like, how, I hope that all those that are listening to this realize that there is hope. There's nothing wrong with all of us staying in the operatory. Again, I just retired after 45 years. I was only doing 5 hours a week, but I still loved that. And it helped me love that. And it also helped my body. I don't have any problems basically that are long lasting from a long hygiene career. But I love the idea that you actually just kept looking out. You knew that there was something missing, right? There was something missing. And in sales, in dental sales, it's something different every day. So a lot of times people, women and men in hygiene, feel like, oh, it's the same thing every day. Well, it never felt that way to me, because a different patient is a different patient and has different, but some people feel that it's more monotonous. But in dental sales, you have to think on your feet. You never know what you're going to get that day, right? So that's something that also sounds like it fuels you, and why you're happy, because you can solve those problems that occur day to day, month to month, week to week, and you love the company. You like the culture. You love the culture.
I love the culture. I love the yes, they have a huge diversity inclusion component. I love that. I love my team. My manager he's not a manager, he's not a boss, he's a mentor, and everyone on our team feels that way. His boss is the same way, and then his boss is the same way, and then our president. It's just from the top down. And every time I have an opportunity to talk to the leaders, I say that, thank you for your leadership, because it comes from the top down. And so I was interviewing with another company at the same time, shorter interview process, way shorter
than 4 months. Yes. Shorter than 4 months.
Right.
Okay.
Same. Yeah. Shorter than 4 months. Thank you so much there. But that was brutal. But in any case, I turned them down because of their management structure, because I saw that it was unorganized. It was a great company. It was great products, but they were nowhere close to the inclusion, the diversity, they weren't vocal about it. And you have to do a lot of background studying of where you're going. And I feel like I got that advice. Not only do you have to see where you're going, but where do you want to be 2 steps ahead, and then plan for that. So that's what I did with the company I'm at now.
Yeah. So you're very strategic as well. And that's so interesting. I really like the idea that the manager that hired you for your company now took that time, because when they take that much time to hire someone, they are in it for the long haul, right? They're not just willy-nilly. Once you say yes and that contract signed, they are as committed to you as they want you to be committed to them. And that's walking the walk, right? That's really important for those listening as well. And having said that, Nicole, sometimes you do have to jump out or put your toe in the water. I really recommend not quitting your day job right off the bat, right?
Absolutely. And that's what I did. I kept status quo where I was, and then kept, I knew that the reward was so great to keep on interviewing with him, and he would give me a little hope here and there. But I just knew to hang in there, because the reward of working for that company would be so great, and it has been.
You can also, start something, and if you have the right mindset, even though it's not the perfect job, because
Yes.
obviously you are well prepared for this job that you're in right now. So anybody, I mean, and just meeting you and knowing you and then knowing your passion and your brains and all of that, I'd hire you in a second as well. And I think anybody would. But you can go to something that maybe is not perfect, because very few things are perfect right out of the chute. To prepare yourself and just know that you're building your resume, building your mental acuity, to be able to get that job, and then find the job where you see some upward mobility, right? That's the other key for you. I can see
Absolutely.
You're one of those people I say, bring it on, bring it on. What else can I do, right?
You definitely have to kiss a lot of frogs in the career path. Definitely. But as much as you're miserable, and I had a girlfriend and she recently passed away, but she would say, I just can't even stand the thought of going there. I can't even stand the thought of going to the office, and every day my stomach hurts and all this stuff. But I really give those people, because I was one of them, if you see what you want to do and you start working on it, the gnawing of your stomach every day, it goes away, because where you are now is paying the bills and it's temporary. And that huge light calling you and shining, you're working on that. So this is a temporary thing, and you're just going to day by day get through it, hour by hour. Yes, it's awful. The doctor might be, not so nice to you. The staff may be, a bunch of gossipers, whatever. But if you have a path and you have a goal and you're working towards it, that negativity kind of gets to the side, because you're focused so much on what's going to happen next. So I definitely don't think anyone should quit their position financially until they're done with how to get to the next one.
Yes, I totally agree with that. And this also gives you hope, right? I mean, some people don't know, okay, I don't know what to do. Well, when you listen to your story, well, I needed this degree, or I wanted to do this to build my resume. You just did it, but there's a plan. There's a plan to work out. And the fact that you got your MBA, so you've got the education that you have, you can go all the way to the top of any company. Just so you know, you really can, because you are armed with that and you're so young. I mean, why not? And if anyone's listening to this, they realize that, you are C-suite material. You are C-suite material. We need women like you that are driven for more. And actually, it's just it's not a lot of fluff. You've got chops, girl. You can sell me anything. I'm telling you what are you selling? I'm buying. And because also, you know what it is, Nicole, and this is the other message that we want to give. You want to have a career where you look back and you feel like, I made a difference, or I reached my calling. You know what your calling is. Your calling is to educate and to train, right? And to be a mentor to those maybe that don't have a mentor.
Absolutely. And that's a huge piece missing, I feel like. A huge piece. I feel like there's so many people out there, and like even myself, if I had that right mentor, I would have saved so much time, but all the time that I spent got me where I am. But I feel like with LinkedIn and so many huge social networking platforms, it's so easy just to send a message. And if they don't respond, then there's 10 more people like them behind it. Just keep, hey, I love your career path. I would really like to connect and, have a meeting with you to see how you got there. So I've had a mentor every single step. In hygiene school, I had a professor who was a mentor. She turned into my mentor when I taught with her, which was phenomenal. When I started writing, I had a mentor in my previous editor. He was amazing. Amelia was amazing. And then when I got into, sales, I had another mentor. So I feel like the thing with mentorship is you really have to be open to learning. You can't close yourself off and think it's just a job. You really have to be open and pick their brain, because people love to share. They love to share how they got there. They love to share what they are doing. You just have to be open to start that personal conversation and relationship with them, I guess.
Well, something else you said that's really important to everyone listening is the fact that you've got to be a good mentee. And so obviously you are soaking in what they're saying, and you're not just taking. That's the other thing. And we've had a few articles on that. Like everyone wants a mentor, but they don't want to do what it takes to be a good mentee, because, as a mentee, you actually try to give a little bit, even in the very, very beginning. it's interesting. They want you to mentor them, but they have no idea what your website is. They have no idea what you really do. It's just like, hey, would you be my mentor? No, let's start slow and really work the relationship from how can I serve you?
Right.
Because I've learned so much from women and men that probably feel like I've been a mentor to them, but it's the opposite. The more I have conversations with them, the more I am being mentored, and they're in their 20s. I mean, of course, if I had a 10-year-old down the street, I would love him to come and mentor me on my tech stuff and all that. That would be great.
Absolutely.
Age is not an issue there as far as mentor and mentee, is it?
Absolutely. No, not at all. And I agree with you. I had a VP who was at that same first sales position. It was the VP and then the president, and those two, and he was younger than me, but boy, his knowledge in sales, it's amazing the depth of knowledge this young kid had. It was just crazy, but I learned so much from him. So I agree with you. Age has nothing to do with it.
Yes. And you can just see, I actually went, it was funny. I went to Best Buy yesterday. I'm getting another monitor because Nikki says, Anne, you need another monitor. Cause I'm like, okay. So and the young salesman, he was in his early 20s, so young, but so enthusiastic about the product, so enthusiastic to help me to figure it out, what I needed, why I wanted this, why I didn't want that. And I just walked away feeling like, that young man is going places, and he deserves to go places because he, and then it's really, a lot of it has to do with just attitude, right?
Yes.
I mean, because you can hand it to them on a platter, but they may not even take a spoonful of what you're offering.
That's right.
But you've tended to continue to learn, and again, the sky's the limit for someone like you. I think it is going to be fun to follow your career. So your advice would be, okay, so somebody's in the operatory right now, they feeling a little stuck.
Right.
They start with step one would be
is, what do you enjoy? Even though it's in the operatory, what do you enjoy about your daily? Because there could be a pros and cons list to everything. If you're the most miserable person, for every 10 things you're going to complain about, tell me one good thing. Take that good thing, cultivate it, and then look. Dentistry has so many outlets. You could do so many things outside the operatory. It's insane. Sales, writing, public health, education. There's so many things. What do you personally like about that? What your good thing is? And then look to see the path, what your next level is about your good thing. If you like to write, how could you become a technical writer in that field? And then so on and so forth. And then I would strongly advise them to reach out to the networking of the person who did it, in front of them, and then make a game plan for sure. Reach out to see what is possible and just do it. Like if it takes 3 years and you don't do it, 3 years from now, you're going to say, I could have been done.
Yeah.
Yes. I could have been there. Why did I not go for it? Yes, it's going to be challenging. Yes, it's going to be hard. Yes, in the summertime when your friends are at a barbecue and you're studying for the 3 exams, you might have to sacrifice a little bit. But in that 3 years time, it's done. And right now for hygienists or anyone, even assistants going back, there's so many cool opportunities online that you don't have to be face-to-face every day full-time. You could work full-time and be at school full-time. I mean, it's just, everything is so possible now. It's crazy.
You just have to want it, and then get your game plan together, connect with the right people. Right. And, small hardship for the big goal is really what it is, right? You give up some things, but the goal, and I think goal setting and where you want to be, there's no reason. And like you said, there is no reason if you're in the dental arena right now, as an assistant or a hygienist or anywhere in that practice, dentist, right, whatever.
Right.
You are smart.
Mm-hmm.
You have a personality that gets along with people. You're caring. You've got a caring heart. There's so many attributes there that really whatever you want to do and accomplish is available. And so I guess, it's just making that first step. And right. And a lot of times that's not out of the op, it's while you're in the op, and right. then building yourself and your personal development right. and education.
And to tee off the personal development, I really advise anyone to make your circle around you as positive as possible. If you're constantly upset and you're constantly, and this is, with anything, but if you're always negative and you surround yourself with those that are also negative, you're going to have negative outcomes no matter what. It's going to be really hard for you to be positive in that consistent shark eating negative environment. So I say, get yourself a new circle, get yourself a new circle, positive people, and move on.
Yeah. Join the DeW. Join the DeW crew.
Join the DeW.
Join the DeW.
Yes,
That's
in
right.
fact, I have the one you introduced me to, Jasmine Haley. I actually have her book. I bought her book.
Isn't it great?
To your podcast. And I had no idea about her until I joined DeW. And I love her. I can't wait to meet her. She's amazing. So it's people like that, and it's networking from people like this kind of platform with DeW. How I met someone so positive. I learned about DeW from Karen Daw. She's a KOL.
Oh, I love Karen Daw. Yes. She's in the the fall edition. Yeah.
Yes, I love her article. I love her messaging. I love her attitude. Just her as a woman and what she's done with her business. So I read about that, and then that's how I found DeW. And from our conversations, I found Jasmine. So it's been so cool. But that's what I would really suggest if they plan on moving forward, is to surround yourself with those kind of people. Even if you're not connected directly, read about them, read about their career, get away from the negative Nellies. They're going to bring you down, and they may be jealous of your ambition. So that's another thing.
Yeah, if people don't have hope and success in their own life, it's really hard to lift others up. And I think that's one of the things with DeW. Our mantra is, good do's find good do's, and we all make a difference, and we're all awesome, and we all just champion and cheerlead each other, all the way to the top.
Right.
Which I just love it. And you said, just do it. That's right, everybody. Just do it.
Yeah.
Well, so how do you know, Nicole, when it's time to get out of your own way and get out of, when do you know when it's time to put on the brakes and start something new?
Right. So to put on the brakes and start something new, you'll know that you're unhappy, obviously. And then you'll know what your next level is. But to know when you're content, I think, is the biggest challenge. Because if you're so used to trying to level yourself up and going through all the steps, like that's where I find myself right now. I've done everything, and I'm so used to, at this point in my career, like right where I am with my current company, this is usually the spot that I'm like, is there something else? What else do I want to do? But I'm really excited to say I'm content. And it's nice to know, like, in the future, what do I want in the future? I need good retirement. I need to make sure I'm continuing growing, supporting my family, being a role model for my girls. When do you know to stop and you are where you are? And I could just say, honestly, that you'll know when you're there. And then you start having that balance. You're not 90% work, 10% home. Your balance is getting there. And you really need to just start enjoying it and stop obsessing about something else, but start learning and creating your self-awareness, self-help, all that kind of stuff. So that's where I am now. I'm just consistently on LinkedIn, doing all those courses, doing all the leadership things, reading, connecting. But I think I'm gonna be happy where I am for quite a long time.
Well, you've got the great mentorship, like you were saying, and it's a long life. I always look at it. People say, "Oh, it's a short life." I said, "It's a long life." This is where you are right now, and it sounds like it's a company that sees your gifts and your talents, and they're going to not want you to jump ship, and they'll give you those opportunities that you're seeking and you're ready for when the time is right for you to make the next move. And hopefully, it's within that company. But I wanted to say something else when you're looking for things. One of the things, well, first of all, Jasmine is wrapping up our conference, our retreat, so you're going to hear directly from Jasmine. She is amazing. And she's doing a speaker's little seminar coming up. So if anybody wants to join that, go on her website and look at that. And also we have Barb Stackhouse is talking about profit first. So that also reminded me of what you were talking about. You need a company with a 401k. And it's funny. I wish I had that 401k when I finished my dental hygiene career, but I didn't because I worked part-time and I never wanted to do the big sacrifice on the front end for the back end. So those are things to think about. I mean, kind of, I was like, I pretty much grew that practice. And then when I left, it was like, well, thank you, bye. And I was like, okay, well, that was great. So that's a really nice thing. But we also have Barb Stackhouse speaking about profit first, which has kind of changed my life as an entrepreneur, because that is when you put your profit, you pay yourself first, and then you pay everybody else. So that is something that that I'm really excited to bring to the DeW community, because a lot of us like the freedom and the other of having our own business. But I do believe that companies are starting to give their employees that little bit of flexibility. That is what COVID has taught, that you can be very successful in getting the job done and have the flexibility. So there's a lot of, this is an age for opportunities.
Right.
Fall's the best time for change. If
Right.
you're thinking about making a change, you might want to think about enrolling in a new program, or putting your feelers out. As Nicole, you said, get on LinkedIn, find some people, get on the DEWs, join the DeW. And then also one other thing I want to just recommend to listeners: when you read an article, like I think Karen was in the summer edition. I'm getting kind of confused, but you read an article from Karen. It is so great. In fact, it's the F word.
Yes.
It's the summer edition. That's right. I just read it again. It was on our social media. Reach out to Karen.
Yes.
Send her an email. Say, hey, Karen, I loved your article. That is how you start mentorship, right?
Yes.
It's just to give them that, because we're all, as you know, as a writer yourself.
Right.
Is anybody reading me? I hope it resonated with somebody, ding, ding, ding. So those were other things, simple things, because they all have their contact information. And so, Nicole, on ending this beautiful podcast today, thank you very much. I'm excited. I wish I could have listened to this podcast when I was in my 30s and had my whole future in front of us. Things work out fine, but some of what I've done is by accident. It's nice to have purpose.
Right.
But how do they get in touch with you? How would you like people to reach out if they've got a question for you as a follow-up?
Definitely go to LinkedIn. All my career path, all my publications are there. My email's there. I am available at any time to anyone. And I agree with you. I wish I had this type of, women do entrepreneurship, mentorship way back when, because I think it would have saved me a lot of dark spots, but it's there now. So for anyone listening, please reach out. I would love to talk to you. I think that there's a lot of value in mentorship. I really do. And there's a lot of space in our arena for women to rise. That's a big one too. Know that you do have a place. If you're not there right now, it's coming. So
it's coming, ladies. So just do it. And most importantly, everybody, and thank you, Nicole, for being here today. I appreciate you so much. So happy we know each other.
Yes.
And shout out to the DEWs. Y'all just keep doing you, because you are special. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you for listening to the Just Do It podcast, hosted by Anne Duffy. To learn more about dental entrepreneur women, to share your story, or to join the movement, please visit our website, dew.life. That is DEW.life. Subscribe to the show on Apple Podcasts or your favorite podcasting app to make sure you don't miss an episode. And in the meantime, keep doing you.